Hi everyone, Justin Cruz here with a very special Facebook Live. Before I get into what I want to talk about, which is Hurricane Lane strengthening, I did want to tell you that I was scheduled to do two Facebook Lives, one at 8 and one at 11. And so this one tonight is one that was unexpected, but I need you to know about it because it's some late breaking news that was just released from the Central Pacific Hurricane Center. And they normally update their site at 11 p.m., 5 p.m. They might do an extra supplemental update at 8 p.m. and at 2 p.m. But they just, at around 6:30, 6:45, they just received some data from one of the hurricane hunters that's been flying in and out and doing analysis of Hurricane Lane. And they looked at that data and they released a new supplemental informational statement that basically said this: the winds around Hurricane Lane are now at 160 miles per hour. That is up from 150 miles per hour, and that is really higher than 130 miles per hour 24 hours ago. So at 160 miles per hour, that puts it at a solid Category 5 hurricane. That is the strongest category, the highest category that you can have in terms of hurricanes. And let's take a look, okay? And we'll take a look at the track as well. I'm gonna flip the camera around. Let's see, flip my camera around. There we go. Okay, so this is the latest forecast track. I apologize if you hear alerts. I did shut off all of my alerts, but sometimes the phone does not cooperate. So let's go back into time. What I want you to notice first is that Lane has 160 mile per hour winds, okay? Again, that is up from 150 miles per hour this afternoon, up from 150 miles per hour this morning, and up from 130 miles per hour last night. 160. Solid Category 5 system. Still moving west at 9 miles per hour. I'm going to make... Yes, Lisa, we are at a Category 5 now. All right, the track. Let's take a look at the track. The track still does this curve towards the north and gets uncomfortably close to all of the Hawaiian Islands. In fact, all islands are somewhat in this cone of uncertainty. We see a Category 3 now. Earlier this afternoon when I was on the air, this was at a 1 near Oahu. Now it's at a 3. This is not good news. Now it's at a 1 near Kauai, and earlier this afternoon it was at a tropical storm. So again, not something that you really like to see. Not only, this is indicating that we are looking at a system that is on a very slow decline in terms of the, I guess, weakening of the system. Not very good at all. Okay, and also let's also take a look at the presentation of the system. Again, it's starting to being picked up on our radar as it moves closer to the islands, but it's still, you know, if you want to look for a beautiful storm, this is it. Clear eye, symmetrical, it doesn't look all that ragged, and so it's in good shape right now. I wish I could tell you that, you know, this is kind of weakening, but it has not shown any sign of weakness. In fact, just the opposite, strengthening. Incredible, just incredible. Let's look at the percentages of tropical storm force winds. Now, all of the islands are going to get tropical storm force winds, which are 39 miles per hour and above. Whether we get hurricane force winds, that's still to be determined. But these areas here, 70% just south of Oahu, outer fringes, Lanai, Molokai at 70%, 80% still offshore, and 60% for Oahu. So it's a pretty high percentage. Okay, those numbers remain unchanged. The real update right now is that we have a system that has not shown that it is weakening whatsoever. Zero. Completely opposite, it has strengthened. And we're still waiting for that point where I could tell you, hey, it's going to be weakening, but it doesn't appear to be that way. And the problem with that is if we have a hurricane that is still 500 miles to the south of the islands as a Category 4, as you can see here. That means it's going to or Category 5. That means it's going to maintain a stronger strength as it moves towards the islands. Obviously, it's going to take some time for it to go back down to a Category 4, back down to a Category 3. That's going to take some time. It just means now we have potentially a slightly stronger system closer to the islands, and it bears worth watching as you folks have done right now. So our next update, again, as I start to wrap things up, our next update will be on air at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. and then I'll do a Facebook Live at 8 p.m. and then we'll have the 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock newscast, and then an 11 o'clock cut-in to television on KHON, and then an 11 o'clock Facebook Live. And then, of course, you can always go to KHON2.com. We always update our website to keep all the latest information there. Try to zoom in right now. We have a Category 4 system just to the southwest of the Big Island. Again, the new news is that Lane strengthened somewhat and went from a Category 4 to a Category 5. It was at 155 miles per hour. It's now at 160. It's a modest jump, but it's a jump in category, and it's a jump in the direction that we don't want. And that's the skinny, folks. That's really what we're talking about. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please spread the word. Let your friends know, because, you know, not everybody could join us on this Facebook Live. Tell them, yeah, it's strengthened. It's still a threat to the islands. Now is the time to prepare and help one another prepare as the storm nears the islands. I would say heavy rain starts to move in for the Big Island tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and then for the rest of the state, heavy rain Thursday and Friday with strong potential hurricane or tropical storm force winds on Friday and Saturday. Okay, guys, maybe I'll see you on our next Facebook Live. That is 8 o'clock, or on television at 8 and 9 and 10 and 11. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Aloha.